my microphone. I'll push start time 95. 9:23. 9:23. I'll be kind. You have a little bit of time to. I told you it was brain break. Huh? I announced it. What book? The book you bought today? There's more historical. You guys will swap. You guys will swap.
So you need from 105 to 205. We're doing like this. So that's scheduled for.
Okay. Is your name too?
So the people who finished the can we
So we'll be starting a new book club.
But are we doing the website?
I don't know. Probably not today. I think the website is going to confuse things too much.
No.
yesterday?
Your group turned it in. There's a lot of people who didn't, but your group turned it in.
I didn't know if I had to.
I didn't bring in my microphone.
Somebody should bring gum for everybody.
Go for it.
Yeah, you know what we could do? I think like people take breaks.
There, it doesn't say that we.
Do I tell you what you need to bring, or do I expect you to be responsible for doing what you need to do? Not anymore. All right. So for a while now, I have not been telling you what you need to bring. Hold on to it now, please. You'll be switching books today with people, so we'll talk about that at the end. I'm really changing my mind about the website. I think it'll be too much work to do.
I'm really sorry.
I think it'll just take away from your time of reading and actually talking about stuff. So I may put that time like in a different time set next week, like in like after math kind of thing, in that 25-minute window. We'll see. So because I do think there's power in you recording your conversation, making them public and publishing them. So I've been doing a lot of in my seminar over the weekend. Made me think a lot. So I am reflecting on my practice and trying to be a better teacher, making things more understandable for you. So you'll notice that the document I'm using now will have more pictures on it and less words, in the hopes of helping you to remember, helping you to learn, and making your learning notebook better. I looked at everyone's learning notebook yesterday, except for a few people who did not turn them in. I will ask you to turn that in today so I can look at it and see how they're going. People in small groups, go over your learning book, especially if you're struggling with that. Okay, I notice a lot of people are struggling with their learning notebook and what you're supposed to be doing with it, and maybe you don't understand the purpose. So I'll be calling that. Anything else that I need to say before we start? No, I didn't write anything. Unless I noticed you sent me a note, then I did something. All right, so this is historical fiction session number 5. I messed up something. So that quote is from Tiger Rising, which is a book that we looked at earlier this year. And the reason I pulled that is because it's what we're going to be talking about today, this idea of significance. Authors don't accidentally do stuff. There's an author that's been like, whoa, that is so significant. They plan it. They think about it. That's a big mess up. Oh, there we go. Again, I apologize. I was supposed to have this paper ready, and I left it over there. So I apologize for that. So this was the line. I can tell you how to cure that, said Willie Mae, pointing with her cigarette at his legs. I can tell you right now. Don't need to go to no doctor. Oh, said Rob. Dumb and held his breath. What if Willie Mae healed him, and then he had to go back to school? Sadness, said Willie Mae, closing her eyes and nodding her head. You keeping all that sadness down low in your legs. You're not letting it get up to your heart where it belongs. You got to let that sadness rise on up. So this is one of the more significant parts of Tiger Rising because it's giving you some information as to what that story was really about. Okay, so that you can make a guess. You can be, maybe it's about this, maybe it's about that, right? Because that comes from your head, what this thing is really about. What is the significance? The author isn't going to tell you. The theme of this book is that friends are important and they will determine the course of your life. They're not going to do that. You have to look for things that are significant and have that in your head. So what we're going to talk about today is this. You have to be alert. Let's see if this works today. Didn't work today because I didn't put in the speakers. I'm getting really bad at that. You have to be alert. That's what that sign is. It says alert. You can't wait to be told to pay attention. You can't wait. You can't wait for me to walk around for you to go back and go, okay, I'm gonna take this important. You have to take control of this. You have to be alert. You have to, when you read something, go, whoa, this is like it's in bold print. This is super important. I'm gonna pay a lot of attention to this. You have to do the job of connecting. How does this go back to the past in the book? What does it all mean? And then you have to do the job of thinking, maybe, possibly, what could this book be about? Okay? And that's what we're going to talk about today. So how do we do that? This is how we do that. We think about, are they repeating words or objects? Are you surprised that something happens? Or did something happen that made you go, whoa, that's called an insight. You're like, oh, I see things differently now. So those are the things. So what I'm going to do, I am going to ask that you pay attention to me reading aloud, and when you think you hear something significant, I want you to give me a thumbs up, okay? I want you to give me a thumbs up. This is when Peter shows up and Anna Marie is sleeping. Anna Marie laughed. I won the girls' foot race last Friday at school. She told him proudly, "Where have you been? We've missed you." "My work takes me all over," Peter explained. "Look, I brought you something. One for Kirsty, too." He reached into his pocket and handed her 2 seashells. Anne-Marie put the smaller one on the table to save it for her sister. She held the other in her hands, turning it in the light, looking at the ridged, pearly surface. It was so like Peter to bring just the right gift. For your mama and papa, I brought something more practical, 2 bottles of beer. Mama and papa smiled and raised their glasses. Papa took a sip and wiped the foam from his upper lip. Then his face became more serious. Anne-Marie, he said, Peter tells us that the Germans have issued orders closing many stores run by Jews. Jews? Anne-Marie repeated. Is Mrs. Hirsch Jewish? Is that why the button shop is closed? Why have they done that? Peter leaned forward. It is their way of tormenting. For some reason, they want to torment Jewish people. This happened in the other countries. They have taken their time here, have let us relax a little, but now it seems to be starting. But why the button shop? What harm is a button shop? Mrs. Hirsch is such a nice lady. Even Samuel, he's a dope, but he would never harm anyone. How could he? He can't even see with his thick glasses. Then Anne-Marie thought of something else. If they can't sell their buttons, how will they earn? Friends will take care of them, Mama said gently. That's what friends do. I'm going to assume people realized they were supposed to throw a thumb up when I read something that you thought might be important and keep it up because I don't see anymore. But I would stop there. This whole idea about friends taking care of each other, and that's what friends do. That kind of came out from me. It's kind of a big, bold thing. So with the idea, this idea that Mrs. Hirsch is their store is closed, can't make money. What's going to happen to Mrs. Hirsch and her family? Friends will take care of them. That's what friends do. So based on that, I have a conversation with your book club. What might this connect to from the past of the book? Does it remind you of anything? Or what is this telling you that maybe the book is going to be about? What could be a guess just from this that the big idea of this book is? So have that conversation with your team right now. Does this remind you of any other part of the book?
Yes.
What book might, what part maybe does it remind you of? What do you think you when the days will come to? No, but in this story, does it remind you of anything that happened? The bodyguard. I was just thinking the exact same thing. I was thinking the exact same thing. It's like kind of thing like, we'll defend you. We're a peaceful country. All right, 3, 2, 1. And thank you. So the group I was talking with, Emilio, was doing all the thinking and talking for that group, which I appreciated. He was talking about how he thinks maybe the real idea of this story is friendship and how friends take care of each other. And he also connected it back to the whole idea of King Christian and the whole country being King Christian's bodyguard. The same sort of thing. So he thought that was an event that connected to that, which I also agree with. Pass this to somebody in your group. One of you is going to read this out loud to the rest of your group. And it's the rest of that chapter. So would ever like to read this out loud?
Number 2.
All right, so it starts.
Juice.
Sorry. Before you do anything, it's pages 24. Hold on. Stop. Hold on. Stop. It's pages 24, then all of 25, and then all of 26. You don't have to read the whole thing. What I'm asking you to do is this. Start here where it says, this is where we just stopped. Okay, so you can continue reading. When your book club hears something that's like, whoa, let's talk about this, then I want you to stop and have a conversation. Same thing that we did today. What is it connecting back to? What do you think it really means? Okay, so pay attention. Do you see something that repeats itself? Like this pink cupcake? Those have been repeated a bunch, yeah? They talked about that about 3-4 times already, right? Pink frosting cupcakes, how they don't exist? That's something repeating. There has to be a reason. Authors don't just go, I'm going to talk about pink frosted cupcakes again. Like, there's a plan. There's a reason they're doing stuff. Or maybe something that makes you think, why? Or maybe you have this idea. So pay attention to the person in your club talking and reading. And when something happens that you want to talk about, stop the group, okay? All right, let's get started.
Guys, we'll take care of that.
What's happening? We're going to be training with the club today. Just hold on.
So Lisa sat up there for Mama. I talked to someone who was talking about Mama said, no, I know you thought and understood. She relaxed. And she wasn't just that much strong. He's a teacher. Mr. Rhythm. They can't close the whole school. She looked at Peter with a question in her eyes. They keep an eye on their candela and stay away from the whole. Dad. I'm very shocked. She almost forgot this. Bored and talk with me. Remember what you heard the boy say? But all done with his wife. But as he said slowly, now I let's go. Maybe we can later. I have her sister and remembers how her father was her mother was too, and Anne-Marie 7 years old had another house that she built.
I mean, they were really talking about that king thing, right? This is something that's, I mean, she's doing this on purpose. She's talking about what, this is the third time this in this chapter.
I talked to someone who said that her mother said that she remembers what her father said about
Why do you think she's doing this? The author. Why is the author repeating this whole thing about friends taking care of each other, this country protecting the king? What do you think? Emily was asleep and Peter came over. Did you guys listen to the reading?
I did.
Yeah. So they came home, the button shop was closed because they were going to get a button for Kirsty. Okay. When they came home, she went to sleep, and then Peter came home. I wonder why.
A button for Christmas.
Or someone's jacket was. I read that on the stereo. You guys needed to listen to that on Monday. Catch up. So why do you think she's doing this as an author? So it's something that's coming.
I think it's at like in the back of the book or something when he started
Okay. So this is, we would call it foreshadowing, right? So the author is like purposely repeating stuff to foreshadow something that's coming. All right, 3, 2, 1, 0. Hopefully you were able to read it. I know some groups struggled with choosing someone to read, so you didn't get much work done there. The conversation what I was having with this book club was this whole, again, they repeat the King Christian stuff. They repeat protecting each other. They repeat this whole idea about dying for someone. Okay? At the very end, Anne-Marie even thinks, would I even do that? What we decided was the author is doing this to foreshadow something that is coming. There's going to be something in this book where the Johansons, are going to have to take care of someone. Okay, we can probably extrapolate that's going to be Ellen and the Rosens and everything. Okay, but that's the reason the author is doing it. That's why she's repeating things. She's foreshadowing. She's warning you of what's to come. And that last line in chapter 3, if you got to that, she said, snuggling there in the quiet dark, that she was glad to be an ordinary person who would never be called upon for courage. Okay, whenever an author does that, that should be like a ding, 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 ding. Oh, she's going to be called upon for courage. Like that's why the author is doing that. She's pushing you. She's making you say, hey, something's coming up. And Anne Marie is going to have to push herself and be as courageous as she's ever thought she could possibly be. Yes?
They also would be thinking of the soldiers.
Right? Yeah. The soldiers, thinking back about the soldiers.
Teacher, I have a
That means something that's coming as well.
I have
Okay.
a question. Peter,
All right.
question.
Where's the copy? The exit slip for your book club. Thinking about the book either you just finished or you are currently reading. What maybe, might be, possibly is. What is it really about? It's not going to be about a girl who lives in a castle or a boy who takes care of a dog. What is it really about? What do you think? Maybe, quite possibly. Well, maybe, make a guess. Maybe. Again, we're just trying. What do you think your book that you just finished or that you're reading is really about? What is the guess that you have? So one piece of paper for the group, and turn that into our cans that have disappeared.